actually this whole opposition to this whole thing, and fairly strong reason, I suppose, is that it facilitates money laundering and terror finance.
Yes.
Now, I believe that you guys can actually
our 1-year anniversary, and it was a interesting time when we launched. We launched on March 8th, and I think April 8th is when the whole bank circular came in. So it's it was an interesting time that you launched an exchange, and within a month the RBI ban comes and what do you do? We pivoted. In a way, we brought in P2P, which is how even today we still carry on the transactions in the Indian ecosystem. But in November last year, so when this ban happened, a bunch of exchanges got together, and we were one of them, and we went ahead with the case in the Supreme Court about the circular. But then, and we thought maybe the first 1 or 2 rounds you will get a result. But I guess you all know how courts are. It goes on and on and on. So in November, I decided that while the court case is going on, it was time to probably start something on our end as citizens of the country, which is where the whole India Wants Crypto campaign started. The objective was the ban was by the RBI, which is not our government. Our government is governed by the ministers we vote into power, and I believe that the best way to get our points across is not votes but our voices on social media, which is where this whole campaign starts. And it's been what I think 128 days. Every day I tweet up for something or the other that's educational regarding crypto to Mr. Arun Jaitley and our PM Mr. Narendra Modi. I tag them with the hope that someday they're going to read it, or maybe every day they're reading it. But yeah. It's like this, we are always demotivated by stuff that happens, and we sit at home and just speak about it and do nothing about it. Social media gives us this power to really put our thoughts out in the open. And while we may not be celebrities, we may not have thousands or 10,000 or maybe 100,000 followers, but if all of us get together and raise one single voice, I believe that our voice will be heard and our ministers will take some action. And that's the motivation that keeps me going every day to keep tweeting. And I request all of you to probably join me, maybe from tomorrow start retweeting my tweets or start your own tweets with #IndiaWantsCrypto. Positive signs will come, I think, eventually. Let's see. So I'll just start with my whole presentation here is going to be about not so much deep into crypto, but I'm just taking like a 10,000 feet view of what crypto or blockchain is all about. Just to get the basics right. I'm not going to go deep. I'm just going to be on a top level thing. So when you think about crypto, let's go a step back and think about what the internet was all about. While there are hundreds, millions of websites today on the internet, the internet's purpose was just transfer of information between two people. And when you take this whole transfer of information, when you think about it, think about the era before the internet. We were in India, basically only the news that the media and people around you spoke about. You never had access to some information that came out, let's say, in the United States or some other country. But the internet changed all that. Today, someone in a remote village in India gets access to the exact same information that we sitting in a metro city get or someone in the United States get. So what did internet do? It sort of democratized the entire access to information. Now that's the first phase of our our technological revolution that happened. The second phase is what I believe is crypto, where today our value exists between us locally, within a country bound by our access to people. But crypto is going to be, sort of democratize the whole access to value. So you might be sitting here and you want to, let's say, transfer value to someone else. There's not going to be any worry about your location, your position. I'll give you a simple example. Like today, let's move. See, I might be skipping a few slides, but I'm just going with the flow. transfer of value I'm talking about when I say position. Most of us are not accredited investors, so we cannot invest in, let's say, a Facebook or a Twitter today. But there are rich people who can invest in that. I was one of the early users of Twitter in 2008, and I believed that Twitter would be big someday. But I never had the opportunity to invest in it. But let's say you're a HNI, you can actually invest in it. So why is this disparity today? It's the position, it's the kind of money that people have, where the rich are getting richer and the ones who don't have access to things. I'll take the answers after this. The ones who don't have access to things are just where they are. So this changes everything. This I believe, and while we're going through a lot of things, I believe this is where you do not have to be at a certain position. It's permissionless. The whole decentralization, I look at it as permissionless, where I want to invest in something, I don't have to go and take someone's permission. I do not have to cater to a particular position. I can just be a nobody and invest. And if you look back at how Satoshi Nakamoto did it, he was a nobody, unknown. It does not matter who or who he or she was. It was just a symbol. And that's how I believe this whole crypto thing is going to happen, where value is going to transfer regardless of who you are, where you are. It does not matter, all of those things don't matter. Now, cryptocurrencies or crypto assets are just forms of these crypto, but there might be hundreds and thousands of implementations that will come. I'll give you one example of crypto where nobody thinks about. That's authority. We are talking about transfer of value or something. But maybe a day will come when you can transfer authority using crypto. For example, today you sign documents on email. Alright, that's where you're signing. But maybe in the future, when you have a token which is verified that it is a token that belongs to you, you can probably just send that token to someone and verify that you probably signed an agreement. So that's where you're sending over your authority to someone. So there are many use cases of crypto that will evolve. Most of us are not capable of probably thinking about it right now because we don't live in that world. But as we go deeper and deeper into this world of crypto, our minds will open up and we'll start thinking about different use cases. Today we're just constrained to money and assets because that's what we know. Probably 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we'll be talking a different thing. It's happened with the internet, it's going to happen different. So with that, let's move ahead. I won't take too long. I'll just, I got just a few slides. Okay, so the first thing is, let's just do, why does India want crypto? The second is, how should India get that crypto? Okay, so let's start with the why. Let's go to the next one. I got 3 important points. First is cheaper capital. This is something that's very close to my heart. Today when I look at things, so think about this: when an Indian wants to get a home loan or any kind of loan, capital requirement, we pay about 10 to 12% rate of interest. All right, but a person sitting in the United States gets it at 1%. Do you think that's fair? That's completely not fair. But why is that happening? Because today value cannot be, across borders. It's constrained. But a day will come when, or it's almost coming, where because of crypto, our interest rates are going to fall. Probably, globally, a day will come where we'll all be paying the same kind of interest. That's only going to happen when crypto gets, like a mass adoption where every country accepts crypto. And this is one of the main reasons, most important reason why I believe that India should actually regulate crypto, because cheaper capital is what will help us build new businesses, help us probably, a lot of these small towns. That's a story I'll just tell you. There's this Tapri guy near my office where I go for chai once in a while, and usually his stuff gets over by 6 p.m. in the evening. All right, and I wonder because there are people who keep coming. So one day I just asked him, why do you not take more stuff, buy more raw materials so that you're not empty by 6 p.m. in the evening? And he told me that he does not have enough capital to buy enough stuff for the day. So he has to make do with what he earns today, so that in the morning next day when the supplier comes, he pays them. Now, if there was a way for him to get value, not just from Indians, but anyone on the internet, and we've seen the magic of internet, we've seen crowdfunding, where stuff which most people never believed in gets funded. So maybe, just maybe, he might be able to put this online and say that, I do not have enough capital. And maybe someone's okay to risk probably 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees. where he just randomly promises that I'll give back maybe 20,000, 100 rupees if you just give me some value so that I can pay that. And this is only possible if there's going to be crypto. Without that, it's never going to happen. So yeah, the first important thing is, I can go on and on, to be honest, about cheaper capital and how that can change, but let's go to the next. More jobs. Now, this comes from a lot of stuff, but let's start with the first. Now, because of the whole regulatory issue that we're facing, no one's ready, probably, or not even dreaming about starting a crypto company. Alright, because there's uncertainty. No entrepreneur wants to risk their, let's say, career on something that's uncertain. Because one of the things I hear from a lot of entrepreneurs is that you want to start this, but what if the government completely bans it? My job is done, but the people I hire, I'll have to fire them. And that's not what anybody wants to do. So, for jobs to be created in this blockchain space, and these jobs are already happening all over the world, but for India to get ahead, clarity is needed in terms of what regulations are going to be, because no one is going to start a crypto-related company, and it's not just an exchange, it's anything in the public blockchain space that you're going to do. You need to be wary of the whole regulatory thing, because let's say you start a blockchain project which is separate, which is different, not like an exchange, and you have crypto. You're going to encash that, into fiat so that you can pay your salary. That's never going to happen in India, right? So you need to, have clear regulations for our whole jobs sector to move in. Now that's at the top level, the white collar jobs you're talking about, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs. But let's go a little lower. There are a lot of these crypto projects globally which allow people to earn money without being employed. For simple example, there are these tokens where you can actually browse the internet, read what you want, and probably look at a few ads and get paid for that. And I'm pretty sure there are enough Indians who would love to do that in their free time and make some money off of it. There are we were speaking about some projects about bandwidth, where you can give your bandwidth away and you can give your storage away. Now these are the kind of incremental income that I believe a lot of Indians will find useful. But today they cannot do it because of the whole regulatory aspect, where they're afraid, if I do this, will the government allow me to encash it? There are so many uncertainties. So we're losing out, I would say, tens and thousands of jobs right now already. But in the next 4 to 5 years, if this does not happen, and see, in this today's world, right, early mover advantage is very, very important. So as Indians, if we do not start right away, and we wait for our government to regulate, it might take 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, we'll just be laggards where, it's like the service industry happened before, but I really wish we were a product-based nation. That would have been much more amazing. We're trying to be one. We've got a lot of activity going on. But we started as a service-based nation. Now, I don't think we should be stuck to that whole service-based economy where we service these blockchain companies that start today, because we cannot start them ourselves. So this is where I think change is important. Our government should allow us so that we can be the first movers as well. Because today I think Indians, all of us are capable of building the right stuff. We are all smart people.
Political destabilization. I'm talking about economical destabilization.
Right. But political destabilization leads to economic destabilization. That is the central thing. In fact, the more dangerous thing today, if you think about it, is not crypto, it's social media. Because that can destabilize everything in the world.
No, I agree with
and social media has no rules today.
No, I agree with you on that front, on the fake news and all that, but my point is extremely simple. That when we are looking at, let's say, you should let innovation happen versus, and then regulate later versus regulation versus innovation later, it's a question of, do you want a repeat of what happened in 2008 because of
which were with regulations from a long time. 2008 was never for the lack of regulation, but honestly, it was always this regulation that 2008 happened.
No, so there was a gaping loopholes in the regulation which were never plugged because the entire US banking system was based on trust.
Yeah, I mean, see, these things are, there are lessons, which you can, what I'm saying is, proven stuff can always be applied. Like money laundering, we're not for money laundering.
Right.
So I'm saying, proven things you can apply even now. There's nothing to fake about it. There are 10 laws not to be broken in, let's say, finance world. Apply it right away. There's nothing to think about it.
Sometimes we can take the example of GST. GST is applied, everybody is worried, then whatever the lapses are found, they are
Fixing it on.
fix it. But yes, it has been
What I
enacted
want
also.
to mention is that actually this whole opposition to this whole thing, and fairly strong reason I suppose, is that it facilitates money laundering and terror financing. Now I believe that you guys can actually go and say that okay, we know how to actually make it more powerful.
Right. That's a good point.
If you
Money laundering
put emphasis on this particular thing, you see, because the rest of the thing that innovation is not, or there are your banks are actually going to lose out in this whole process. These are not very strong reasons for which government can stand up. But when it comes to terror financing and money laundering, that is where if you can put down and say that we can help you to really make this completely strong.
Exactly.
No, that's a great point.
Government already knows that without Bitcoin, money laundering and terror financing is already happening.
You know,
Without any Bitcoin in place.
The evils
It
of
happens in
Bitcoin.
stages.
The evils of Bitcoin, there's no evil about Bitcoin that does not exist already in the world. So Bitcoin hasn't created any new evil. It's just the same thing, which is in the cash world. Financing, AML, everything happens in the cash world. That's exactly what. But the good thing about that is that you can cash hold of the person who did it. Because once you are online, doesn't matter what privacy coins you use, what you do, there is always a way to cash.
Yeah.
And so I think it's better if they use Bitcoin for whatever illegal activities. Because today or tomorrow they'll be gone.
In fact, by not providing a banking channel, there is higher incentive for tax evasion as well as
A lot of stuff.
money laundering, all of that, because everything is settled in cash.
In fact, just to counter to the point of that money being a little more sensitive on the fintech side, finance side, you look at the history of aviation, a lot of people died in the process of innovation. And on the same argument, I could say human lives are also equally important. And that was the kind of conundrum that innovators faced. Even the origins of the guys who invented the aeroplanes. You look at those documentaries on Netflix. So you realize that a lot of people, the regulator came in later, much later on, because the confusion was it was the passenger service. So will the shipping regulator do it, or will the bus company regulator do it? And there was no answer. So the regulator was altogether a different regulator, which was an airline.
So that's, I think
Those
my
technologies
point
are not threat to government.
Yeah.
This technology is threat to government. It takes over the control.
That's all thanks to the internet. So I really hope regulations come in really quick, or at least the banking ban goes, and the government allows us to start companies. Let's go to the next one. The third one is investment. I just touched this a bit in the beginning. I'm talking about ICOs and STOs out here. Well, there have been scams and stuff. See, that's how it happens in the early days. Internet had a lot of scams. I remember this was before. I think that this was the I don't know if you guys remember, but I ordered a wallet. It showed a particular brand, and I got something else. And then I said, the e-commerce is a scam, and we know it's not right now. It's been fixed, but there have been a lot of these starting issues with stuff. But that does not mean that the entire industry is a scam or the entire concept is a scam. ICOs out here, like I said, if I could invest in Twitter back then, I would have been, richer than what I am. But I couldn't because there are no access. So right now there are a lot of these projects in the crypto space that are coming up, which because ICOs are decentralized, they don't say that you can invest and you cannot invest. They allow everyone to invest, and they do not even say that you can invest only if you have over $1 million. You can invest even 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees. In most ICOs, because of regulation, there are some that do not allow you. But let's say in a free open world, someone who's smart, and most of the early users are us. We use these products in the early days. We help them grow. We help them get more people to their websites. And what do we get in return? Nothing, because there was no way for these companies to transfer value. But now, because of crypto, these companies can transfer value to the early adopters, the early users of their products, and that's exactly what is happening. But yeah, with the whole regulatory hurdle, maybe Indians might miss this thing as well. So this is my third important aspect. Now there are hundreds of things that can be the reason why we need crypto in India, but I think these are the three main most important things. if we can solve, if we can just focus on these three things, it directly leads to, economic growth for an entire country, more jobs, better access to capital, and a wealth investment opportunity. So more jobs helps you, earn money. Access to capital helps you start your own business, and better investment opportunities where you invest that money that you earn and make more of it. That's the way how you, increase your wealth over time. If these three things can happen with crypto, then why are we not having these crypto regulations? Or why are we not allowed to freely and openly be part of this whole crypto revolution? Which, most countries around the world, they are. If you look at it, we are the largest democracy in the world, and we are the ones who do not have banking access. And, every other country out there, no one has really banned banking. Just FYI. Just China has an issue, but again, I'm talking about democracies around the world. We are the only ones who have this issue that we are facing. And probably because we are not raising our voices loud enough for our government to know that it matters to us. If we are silent, we do not talk about it, our government is never going to know. So let's start talking about it every day. Now this was the how, this was the why we need, and I just focused on 3 points. Now next is how. There are just 2 points to this. How should be regulated? So the first one is, there are a lot of thoughts around this. People say, I heard him saying about multiple, regulatory bodies, existing ones can come. How I see this is, look at this. If, let's say, email, right? If in an imaginary world, email was to be regulated, do we think we'll go to the post office and say, please regulate email? Because you send letters as well, and email is sort of online letter. No, because why? Because it's different, right? The thing that both do is pass information, but the way they do it is completely different. It's the same as, let's say, a traffic police on the street is not going to be the person to regulate air traffic. It's going to be a different skill set. It's going to be completely different. Then why are we trying to fit in a very completely new and different technology, which is crypto, into an existing stock market or commodities exchanges or financial institutions? I believe that we should create a completely new regulatory body which consists of people who are into technology, who understand how crypto works, who are probably veterans of the tech industry, coupled with probably veterans of the financial industry. Because how I see this is it's a combination of finance and tech. We've been talking about fintech for a long time, but honestly until now it was offline finance available online. This is a real fintech where this is financial technology, and that needs a mix of both finance people and the tech people together in a regulatory body. And I really hope that India thinks about it from that perspective, and instead of siloing it into an existing body or trying to fit in into an existing mechanism, comes up with a completely new approach, a new body which starts regulation. But before we regulate, there's a step before that we should be doing, which is industry participation. Now the thing is, because it's new, if you look at the history of whatever has happened in our entire human history, it's never been started with regulation and then succeeded. It's always succeeded and then regulation. And that's exactly what this industry needs. You do not start with regulation and expect amazing stuff. Because let's think about this, there was always a censor board for your movies and for what you see on your media channels. There was never a censor board for the internet. And it worked out fine, it worked out amazing. Maybe the censor board is trying to come in now with Netflix and all coming to India. But before that, the censor board had no access to all these things. They were just doing the offline stuff. And the internet just grew on its own. And a lot of bad things could have happened, but only the best things happened because of this free movement of information. So I believe that in terms of crypto, you just cannot start with regulation and expect innovation to come. So take a step back, let the industry do its work. And this is a beautiful example of this is Japan. What Japan has done, we hear about Japan saying that crypto is legal and everything. So while they've done that, they do not have a regulatory body at all. What they've done is they've said that there are X number of exchanges in our country. Let them get together, let them form a regulatory body, let them self-regulate themselves. And when we see that the time is right for these regulations to come in, we will come in. So that's a beautiful, beautiful approach, which is why they're probably years ahead of us in everything that they do. But I believe that India should do something similar, where take a step back, remove the banking ban, tell that all these exchanges, all the other non-exchange crypto-related businesses get together, form a body, self-regulate. When you do self-regulation, right, nobody wants to be criminals out here. Nobody is going to come and say, I'm going to be a criminal one day. They want to do business, especially entrepreneurs, everyone, they want to do business. So they're going to do the right thing. And when you see something wrong happen, probably step in, help them out, fix things. So that's how I see that it should be first industry participation, and then eventually, maybe 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, regulations should come in. Or probably they may never be needed the way we don't have sensors on the internet. So yeah, these are the two things. Then I think I'm done.